Oh, I have a thing. Hello? Is it working? Alrighty. That makes your life easier. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Los Alamos. I am Mimi Adams. I use the pronouns she or they, and I am today's worship associate and the chair of the worship team. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your image of the holy, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. If this is your first time with us, we'd like to get to know you. Please sign our guest sign-in book in the foyer, if you'd like. For the kids here in our service, does that include me? We have our activity table up front. Kids can also stay seated with their grown-ups, and please remember to use whisper voices while talking. If you'd like to know more about our programs for youth and kids, please speak to, you can't today, Elizabeth Portillos, who's out of town for a bit, who's our Director of Faith Formation. We also have a nursery down the hall for younger kiddos, and Sarah Hamoud, our nursery coordinator, can check in your younger kiddos. We have our Candles of Community area over here and at the back. You are encouraged strongly to come up before the prayer meditation time and light a candle and or write your joy or sorrow in the book to be read aloud. There will be time during the meditation time, but if everyone piles up, then it takes forever. We come together as a community every Sunday to pause and worship together. Worship creates connections within, among, and beyond us, calling us to live with wisdom and compassion, calling us to be our better selves. Our worship team for this Sunday's worship is the Art of Healing, which our guest speaker, Mike Adams, will share with us. He's a great guy. And I'm not biased at all. I will now read our chalice lighting words, and Leo will light the chalice. He has no interesting fact for you, but I will say that for people whose birthday is, say, today, do happen to be Leos. And if your birthday was yesterday, say like Madisyn, they happen to be a Leo too, just so you know. May we kindle this chalice with the light of hope, healing, and love that we carry in our hearts wherever we go.
sometimes I really like having options, and sometimes I really just want someone to tell me, let's do this. And depending on the mood, I may feel irritated. Today I like having options. I don't know why. So I've got something prepared for Mimi and for Madisyn and for anyone else who has an August birthday. Can you hear this? Happy birthday, yay, 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 to you, woo, woo. Happy birthday, yay, 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 to you, woo, woo. Happy birthday to you, we are Norway, yay. Okay, so, we are Norway, yay. May you have many more happy birthday to come. May you have many more happy birthday to come. Happy birthday to you, we are Norway, nay. Shake, so. Shake, so, we are Norway, nay, ooh-ah. Okay. Is this working? Yes. So today is something of an experiment. Many of you have probably heard me give the Sunday service before, and it's usually fairly intellectual, and I've done a lot of thinking and reasoning. Today I'm doing something different, and it's because I'm experiencing something different, and it's because life is pulling me in different directions. And today is going to be more experiential. My planning consists more of a memory map than anything, of a thought map, with little bits of art. The art of healing is about finding expression. It's about finding authentic expression. It's about traumatic integration, vulnerable communication. It may not be delivered with artistry, but it is art. The art of real life. The art of love and of pain. And of beauty. The art that wants out. In the last several years, this is just a little context, in the last several years, I have been trained to facilitate the Circle of Security Parenting curriculum, which is based on decades of research in secure attachment theory. And that has transformed my parenting relationship with my adult children and my relationships with other people. I have done endless hours of personal learning on trauma. I completed a 120-hour course from, I don't remember, and it's some website with a very long acronym for mental health professionals, and it's a trauma master course, and I have identified a lot of my trauma, and I see trauma and understand. I guess my battery is running out because I already turned on the pack. Oh, you can hear you. So, I'm going to turn off the pack. Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Because I had turned it on and it went off. Okay. I've written a bunch of poetry, and I'm not a poet. I just want you to know I am not a poet. And unfortunately, we have a real poet here with published work, but I'm going to do this anyway. And the reason that you have a yellow and a white piece of paper there is because this is going to be a little bit interactive. And so I just want you to think about this as I share. I want you to think about something that stuck with you, something that hurts, that stuck with you, that you're not willing to share, and that can go on the white piece of paper. And you can put details and names and personal information on that. And then I want you to think about something that stuck with you that you are willing to share, but if you don't have to tell us that it's you or who was involved, it can just be, they said this to me. And that goes on the yellow sheet of paper. And we're gonna do a little experiment. I'm gonna take some of those and I'm gonna try to do something creative with them. And what I wanna talk about today, yeah, I went off again. I'm gonna use one of these handheld mics. So, what I'll do is, I'll do something creative with that, and the goal is to think about your pain, your unhealed pain, and to think about how to express that and how to get it out in the world and how to have that integrated. And I just wanted to put in a plug because I finished last night watching an animated series called Undone. And Undone is incredible. It's a 2-season series with 8 episodes each season, and it leaves a lot of questions unanswered, but it touches on a lot of really important human phenomenon, including one of the most misunderstood things that I think is out there that I used to scoff at, the idea of an inner child. And I just want you to think about that, because I'm going to share a little bit about myself and about what I've learned about myself. And you may relate to some of that, and you may not relate to other things. And I'm going to share a little bit about my daughter, Ursula, and my parenting, and I'm going to be vulnerable. And I might cry a little bit, and if I do, it's okay. And I want to talk to the guys right now, especially. If you're my age or older, there's a good chance that you grew up like I did, thinking that it's not really okay to have emotions as a man, except for anger, happiness, but not too much. And you're allowed to be sad if your mom or your wife or one of your kids died, but you should probably get over it in 3 or 4 days. And it's really hard to live a full and meaningful life with those constraints because there are so many emotions out there that we don't allow ourselves to have. There's shame, there's embarrassment, there's being like truly sad, there's just being afraid when you think that you shouldn't be afraid. There's all sorts of things out there. In fact, Renae Brown has identified something like 52 distinct emotions that a human being could have. And research shows that if you have a better vocabulary for your emotions, you are happier. The more words that people have to express their emotions with nuance, the happier they are in their life. I do not have memories. I don't mean that I can't remember anything, but there are blank spots where something lives. It's something dark, something I don't want to know about. Hours just gone. Experiences erased. What? Who? How? I hear about them, and I feel for the person who lived through that experience. It was me, you say? Really? I don't remember that. I was diagnosed with complex PTSD a few years ago, and what that means is that I had a variety of different traumatic experiences as a child, and it wasn't like one thing, it was a variety of things. Some of it happened in school. It happened in a variety of different settings from a variety of different people. And what that means is that I have
all of these landmines, emotional landmines in my life. And one of the things about trauma, PTSD, especially CPTSD, is a thing called automatic triggers. And automatic triggers are things that I often don't know about. It could be a tone of voice that reminds me, even not consciously, a tone of voice that reminds me of a time when I felt particularly afraid or powerless. It could be having some kind of feeling in some specific context, a feeling that reminds me of a time when I felt really powerless in my life. And all of these automatic triggers exist without my knowing it. And so sometimes I'm in a setting and something happens, and then I'm having some emotional outburst that is really inappropriate for the setting and really inappropriate for whatever just happened. And this doesn't happen as much now as it did in my 20s. It doesn't happen much anymore. But it took me years and years and years to realize that I wasn't reacting at that party last night to what that person said to me. I was actually reacting to something that happened in 7th grade that I never resolved. And the reason I didn't resolve it, because I, as a man, am not really allowed to have that feeling. And in this society, that's common, and it is enforced. It is enforced by other men, and it is enforced by women. And we all take it on, and it damages all of us. But on the other side of CPTSD, and it's arguable whether this is really good or not, but it's good in the situation. I'm the guy you want around when the mierda hits the fan. I was made for this. The panic flows, the anxiety surges, and then the calm descends. While others fret or worry, some of them try to hold on to vestiges of normal life, and this moment is not normal life. There's something really bad happening, and we don't know how to deal with it. But I know how to deal with it. I calm down. I may or may not remember this experience, but right now, I will get us through this. My mind, it snaps into focus. Actions that do not directly lead to the next result that is a link in the chain to safety, those are irrelevant and I don't care. I am clear and I get us through it. That's not enough time. Has anyone thought about anything and written anything down yet? I'm going to collect those. Hopefully not get feedback in the process. Just the white one is yours. Oh, I'm coming around. Sorry. Just the yellow ones, the white ones yours. In anger, I said, F you to someone who was very offended. I regret my words, my anger. I still feel sadness about the end of the relationship and that I hurt someone who was probably hurting. I still work on forgiving myself. There's a guy I pay attention to on YouTube videos. His name is Chase Hughes. And he kind of comes from an interesting background. He trains operatives. He trains people to go out and be operatives in the world, like undercover or FBI. And you have to be really emotionally intelligent to do that job, it turns out. It's not like a James Bond. It's a lot less exciting than that. And now he offers people ways to take those skills and to be happier in life and to have better relationships in life. And one of the things that he says that is really important is that to be truly happy, to really get over your shortcomings, you have to be willing to be ridiculously forgiving, not only of yourself, but of other people. And forgiving, just to be clear, doesn't mean, oh, it's okay that you abused me. It means I'm not going to keep swallowing the poison of resentment, trying to get even with you. I see your humanity, and I love you anyway, because in the similar situation, I might be doing the same thing. My adult daughter, and I'm okay to share this because it was in the newspaper. My adult daughter has schizoaffective disorder and major depression. And a couple of months ago, she was arrested for vandalism by the high school and over by Camazon. And when I found out that one of the charges that she was facing could carry, worst case scenario, 2 years in prison, I was shocked. My daughter is 21 years old. She's a trans female. She has been involved in the community of Los Alamos for her whole life. She has been a person who stands up for justice. She is the reason that we have Black Lives Matter painted on that box out there. It's because she wrote a letter to the board and asked them to do that 10 years ago. And then she presented her reasoning in service and got 100% approval vote to do that. It terrified me to think of my daughter in prison. She's not the kind of person who would do, well, nobody's the kind of person who does well in prison, but some people survive prison better than others, and she's one of the others. So I did what I had to do, and I had her involuntarily committed to a hospital. And that is always a traumatic experience. And I've had to do that 3 times in the last year. And every single time it breaks my heart. But the last time was the hardest. Hesitantly, she accepts the hug. And there, in the sterile room, father and daughter embrace. He feels trapped. Not in any traditional sense, but snared nonetheless. His heart seized, arrested, an impossible choice, yet easily rendered. But at what cost? She does not understand why. For her, there is no good reason for the hug, no good reason for farewell. She knows he loves her, and she knows that is why. But she can't see it as reasonable. She can't see the justification. Did he not sing freedom only 12 hours ago? And now she feels abandoned to a system. She had no vote. Yes, he did this from love, but it feels like abandonment. A sleepless night, an anxiety-ridden day with intermittent naps, stomach pain, stabbing ice picks relentlessly assault, leaving no mark, no evidence, no puncture, no wound on the body, only fatigue and fear. Is this the price for betrayal? Is that the fee for undermining her agency? It was bought and paid for with fear. And that is familiar. He is well acquainted with fear, with terror, with decisions made and fashioned from that emotional ore. He knows it was the right thing, but it is so familiar, so recognized, a ghostly memory, maybe even a pattern. His mind considers solutions and remedies. It's a freight train of images, of emotions, derailed and slamming through his consciousness. Again, asphyxiation, limbs twitch, dutiful with purpose, yet no, not now, not today. Press play and remember, this is impulsive. Write it out. Await the experience that comes after the impulse. There is no new information, no drought to quench the need, the necessity to know how is she. He shakes his head and lies down. Perhaps sleep will visit tonight, and work, well, work, it won't wait forever. Secure attachment, those connections, those threads that I talked about in the meditation, the context and the question, am I loved? Am I safe? Am I seen? Am I accepted as me? Can I regulate my emotions? Can I say yes? Can I say no? Will I be able to proceed? So I'm out of time. I got 4 more minutes. I woke up and then I had this terrible feeling of dread. A despair washed over me like a wave that I didn't see coming. Crash. Tossed by regret. Big gulp of air as the power lets me surface for a moment. Then whoosh, the despair pulls me, it pushes me, it slams me into the sand at the bottom of the ocean. It holds me under, and all I can do is hold my breath and wait for the wave and the turbulence to pass. And it does. It always does, as long as I'm not body surfing near a bunch of rocks, that is. So last night, and I don't mean last night today, I mean last night for this poem, I did things that were too much, too far, too emotional. And the lesson I learned, I cannot trust my emotions. People should not trust their emotions. I lived like that for 30 years. And it is painful. So today, what I want you to do is to start to feel those emotions. Because if you can just feel them, they will pass. It may take a while, but they will pass. Find out what the name for them is. Visit Brené Brown's site. Find out what the name for them is. Integrate them into your story. I used to be the kind of person who, instead of feeling embarrassed or ashamed, got angry and scared people. And sometimes I still do that, but I try not to. Today, I try to be the kind of person who says, wow, that really hurt my feelings. And then I let the person who I'm talking to sit with that. And you know what a lot of guys do? A lot of us, what we do is we invalidate other people's feelings. There's a whole book written about this. It's called This Is How Your Marriage Ends. And what it talks about is when our partner comes to us and says, that really hurt my feelings, we get defensive. And we explain that what they experienced wasn't what we intended. And what we actually intended was this other thing. And for men, we've grown up that that's good enough. Get over it. Because if you don't, you're going to get punished socially. Women didn't grow up that way. That's not good enough. And actually, it doesn't help us either. So what's important is to get, I did something, and it didn't intend to have that consequence, but it did. And I'm so sorry that I had that consequence, that I had the effect on you of feeling that way. And then after that, we can talk about what we intended, but not as an excuse. Because what she feels when we do that is dismissed, invalidated. But here's the important thing. If we're going to do that, we can't allow ourselves to be invalidated either. So if I come to you and I say, that really hurt my feelings, that felt embarrassing, I felt dismissed, it's not going to be okay with me now for someone to then invalidate my feelings and just say, I didn't mean that. You can just get over that. So I'm learning to have boundaries. And I got to wrap it up. I'm learning to have boundaries. And boundaries aren't putting consequences on other people. They're what I'm going to do to protect me when something hurts too much. That's all. Sometimes there are consequences, sometimes not. But that's really what it is. It's about what I'm going to do to protect me. And so I just want to tell you all, thank you. I love you. This is a great community. And I want to have more conversations like this in this community. And sorry I didn't get to read more. I wanted to read all of these.